Hi, today is April 29th, 2021, and wow, we're nearly into May. I'm going to be reading on the FBI investigating the Breonna Taylor case, and I think they'll probably be investigating some others. So I want to see what the difference is going to be with the FBI, with what they find, and what the creator is willing to share that we need to be aware of. So I ask for my spiritual mentors to help me to read accurately and clearly, and to share what the FBI's investigations, or investigation in this case, into Breonna Taylor's case, and some of these other cases, what it's going to find. What are they going to really find? What do we need to be aware of? So let's see. What is the FBI going to be finding in their investigation of the case of Breonna Taylor and others who were not doing anything calling for them to be shot? I mean, Breonna Taylor was in bed not doing anything but sleeping. And I have been shown that in her mind she thought this was home invasion. She was terrified. Makes me sick. Anyway, what will the FBI, what would their conclusions be with the regard to the case of Breonna Taylor and so on? What will the FBI's conclusions be with regards to Breonna Taylor's case and those of others? All right. The tower. That's significant. This means that a system is riddled with corruption, and it's got to come down because it's so intrinsically enmeshed, it will not withstand, because it is not made based on real logic. So this shows me that it's going to be very damaging. Yeah. What the FBI find, that it is going to end up making it really shockingly clear to America that we need to rebuild and reform, and very carefully and very thoughtfully, so that we do not add these skewed perspectives into what we see or believe to be our strength. That is a definite message of the tower. But also, you have to build these things on countries, etc., on things that are truthful. It cannot be these lies that white people are superior to other people. That's just silly. Anyhow, so I see that as being also a very swift catalyst change. The FBI's investigation will pack a wallop, and I think set the ball rolling so that they can create change and reform. And where it all needs to be, throwing things out and rebuilding from scratch new ideas. I do. I see this is a good thing. That if people lead it in the right direction, it'll be a very positive thing. And I think it will be. Okay, crossing the FBI investigation is the Nine of Wands. And this to me is the heavy, the damage. This to me is when you end up causing harm to another individual. This to me is them breaking into her home and doing what they did. So I think they'll definitely be found in trouble by the FBI with regard to the whole premise that they went and did what they did with Breonna, the whole very premise, and that it put her and her loved ones through unnecessary hardship and loss because she lost her life for no good reason. Ace of Cups. This has to do with the emotional just overflow of so many people. I feel that we've had being killed this way since Breonna Taylor. It's just, there's so much emotion behind it because it's just, the numbers just keep stacking higher and higher, and it's terrible. This, it's got to be stopped. All right. And what crowns the FBI in their investigation of these things is there needs to be a choice. There are better choices. We can actively make this better right away. There are certain things we can do right away, certain actions we can take with this Two of Wands, and that will eventually lead us to even more helpful and more deep measures that can bring about a positive change with this, with the Wands, where people are inspired and they're not wanting to go and act out on whoever they pull over. That's what's crowning. It's the decision. So I also feel like they're going to feel, I believe the FBI will say they had time to make the choice, to give consideration, to use discernment, okay? But they still allowed their emotions to control them and their physical, I think, response. Yeah. This is the environment where there is violence going on, these shootings, and it connects with also the other ace, the Ace of Cups. And the Seven of Cups. I feel like this is often the deliberate gaslighting that ends up happening by I think departments that have something to hide. And that there's still, because certain details are held back, so you don't have the full picture. And this card says that the full picture is not being seen. for one reason or another. And in this case, I feel like it is because there are certain elements that they have not presented straightforwardly. And therefore, there's that sense that of what? This doesn't quite make sense. There's a sense of this is not completely sensible here. Why? Why did you take that action? I feel like the FBI are going to be scratching their heads with why Breonna Taylor's case was handled the way it was. And the information that they get. Okay. Their perspective, we have the Chariot. In the environment, we have the Three of Cups. I believe what the FBI find will be very validating for many people of color, and those who love them are part of the family, who are aware that they get put through this. Because I feel like the FBI is going to say they had choices here and they acted with a knee-jerk reaction rather than their training. And it's confusing. I think it shows confusion to why they would react that way, and I think to even themselves. But there's just, they didn't, I'm getting the message, and I don't know if this is right or not, you guys, but I am getting the message here. They didn't fall back on training, they fell back on bias, what looks like here, and very emotive. I should get this pulled up. Hold on so you can see this. Bias and very emotive based reaction. And where there is anger, where there is irritants, they're coming in with an attitude rather than one being one of, like they should have at work, of open mind and being able to assess. They're already shut down with an idea in their head, and it's not clear, and that's what's just so weird. It's like, why are you settling for a lack of clarity? So I think the FBI will be able to expose a lot of problematic issues with those bodies investigating anything. And specifically for these investigations to be activated and be actively going on. I mean, like I said, they say that the FBI is saying their investigation will be done around May, which is very, very soon. But the local authorities, they have all kinds of issues. I know that they're two different bodies, but I think what the FBI is going to find here with the Six of Wands and the Three in the environment is that they were not properly handling her case. This is a more extensive but it's going to show that the FBI is going to be saying, there's a lack of care. The people simply just, I think, in this instance, have grown too hard. And there's a real disconnect. That is what it definitely shows. Just really quickly, 2 more cards with the FBI. The FBI is going to show that there's been, manipulations to cover up past activities, shall we say. And, grab 2. I feel that this to me is, condemning a victim in a bad light for something they do, like being without a home, or not having, or doing drugs, or something like that. I'm just seeing that there's that problematic behavior, I think, that the FBI is going to find within many of these departments, and these departments are going to need to be changed out. I feel like they'll have new people having to come in and new guidelines brought in. So that's what I feel. I do feel that it will make a significant difference. Oh yes. And it will put certain departments on public display that don't have their stuff together the way that they should. So I hope that you enjoy this reading, and if you do, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much.